Marshmallow Incident. Sounds serious. The Marshmallow Incident occurred a very long time ago, so long ago that most people have forgotten why it happened in the first place. Fortunately, the true story was recorded in a diary that was found in the ruins of an ancient castle hidden in an old and stale box of marshmallows. So let's pick this part. Got the diary. It says Lefty's leftover menu. Month-old macaroni and cheese. Oh gosh. Moldy meatloaf. Slimy salad and stale bread. Rotten pea soup. Oh gosh. Ooh. The diary tells the story of two neighboring towns, the town of Left and the town of Right. They were named that way because everyone who lived in the town of Left was left-handed and everyone who lived in the town of Right was right-handed, and it had been that way for endless generations. This difference seemed so extreme to the people of Left and Right that they refused to have anything to do with one another. It didn't help that someone who had painted a bright yellow dotted line between the two towns. The people didn't know who had done it or why, but they never trespassed on or over that line. So we got left is right, lefties, we proudly serve leftovers. Righties go right home, right is wrong. Right is right, the right stuff. The right angle in, always the right time. Left is left behind. We only have half a clock. Both of these towns were watched over by the Order of the Ambidextrous Knights of the Dotted Yellow Line, who lived in a small castle right smack in the middle of that dotted line, whose sole mission in life was to make sure that nobody crossed that dotted yellow line. They kept the line neat and clean, repainted it when it started to fade, and guarded it really well. So lefties go no further, stop. Lefties, stay back. Gift shop. Go right home. You're way too close. Righties, stay back. The knights also guarded something else really well. Their marshmallows. A few years earlier, one of the knights had entered a poetry contest and won first prize, which just happened to be 50,000 boxes of marshmallows. Roses are red, violets are blue. I like marshmallows because they're made of sticky goo. That was an awful lot of marshmallows. When they were delivered to the castle, the knights stacked them high up inside the front gates. The knights snacked on them, ate them with peanut butter, melted them on baked potatoes, floated them in their hot cocoa, put them on pizza, spun them into fluff, fed them to their horses as special treats, and roasted them. I was down for it until they said the marshmallows on pizza. Does not sound very good. One sunny June day, the town of Wright was having its annual picnic, complete with soup and biscuits. Kids were running around and climbing up and down the trees and on top of the stone walls. They were getting very close to that dotted yellow line, so someone went running after them to keep them away from it. Uh-oh. Before he knew it, he tripped on a rock, went flying over the line, and landed in the town of Left. He knew there was going to be trouble, and there certainly was. When the knights saw what had happened, they immediately whipped themselves into a frenzy. The line had been crossed. Since it had never happened before, they shouted orders to one another to mount their horses and grab the nearest ammunition, which oddly enough turned out to be their marshmallows. No snacking. The knights strapped several boxes of marshmallows onto their horses and swarmed out of the castle in a measured tizzy to their nightly duty to defend that dotted yellow line. Galloping around, they filled their catapults and fired thousands of marshmallows into the air. Birds caught hold of them in flight, and people ran for shelter. After just a few minutes, it looked as if there had been a blizzard. The countryside was littered white with marshmallows. The marshmallows gently bounced off houses and heads, rolled down hills, floated across the lake, got stuck in trees, and amused and confused the cows. The attack continued until one of the knights realized how silly the whole thing was. He climbed on top of a large pile of marshmallows, raised his hands high in the air, and yelled, "Why do we have this line? It's been here for years and years, but it seems to create problems instead of solving them. Let's wipe it out." "Not so fast," the townspeople shouted back. "This calls for a town meeting of both towns." Later that afternoon, the townspeople met. The knights stood by to keep peace. In the end, no one could come up with a truly sensible reason to keep the line, so they decided they should and would get rid of it. So why have we always had the line? Why change now? It's silly. I like dotted lines. Those dots bother my eyes. We live next door to each other, and we don't even know each other. I like the line. Yellow is a cheery color. I think we should think about it. We need the line. Let us vote. "No more line!" shouted the townspeople as they danced around in celebration. So no more line, no more line, no more line. I won't miss it. I can't wait to get rid of it. The line will finally be gone. It's about time. No more line, no more line, no more line, no more clothesline. I won't miss it. Then, for the first time ever, the townspeople crossed over the line and introduced themselves. They even shook hands and chatted. "What's your name?" "I've never been to the town of Left. I've never been to the town of Right. It's nice to meet you. I feel better already." Everyone had a good time playing with the marshmallows. They made finger puppets out of them and invented games like Tic-Tac Marshmallow and Base Marshmallow. People painted with them, slept on them, and turned them into sculptures. Someone even built a small version of the pyramids. That night, all the people from the towns of Left and Right roasted marshmallows over a huge roaring campfire. The knights and their horses were there too. Everyone sat in a circle and sang their favorite songs, munching on the delicious gooey treats. The next day, using mops, brushes, soap, and water, all the townspeople joined together happily to remove the old dotted line. They rubbed at it and scrubbed at it until the line was completely gone. In time, all the marshmallows disappeared. The rains melted them and washed them away. And every year after that, on the anniversary of the Marshmallow Incident, the towns of left and right held a campfire. The knights always supplied a sensible number of marshmallows for the townspeople to roast, and everyone continued to live peacefully and sweetly ever after. Good night. The end.